I am so tired of hearing about this guy. Every time it seems like things are possibly moving in the right direction, he comes around and does some bullshit to show just how much of a garbage human being he is. I guess both our countries have something in common. Both run by criminals who have never been held accountable for anything in their lives. Only difference is one's the puppet and one's the puppeteer.
Pull no strings around here. I do. I'm the puppet master.
I guess everybody got a boss, including Donald Trump.
He be like, shut the up. I be quiet. But when he leave, I be talking again.
I think it's safe to say that this war isn't exactly going the way Donald Trump thought it would. I'm sure he was hoping this outcome would be the same outcome that he deals with everything else involving, like banks and contractors. While we have to pay our bills, Trump likes to negotiate, aka not pay. Here's an interview Donald Trump had with Barbara Walters in the 90s.
Some of your friends have told us that you deliberately missed a payment on the Trump Castle debt so that you could negotiate this deal with the bank. Is that true?
Did I deliberately miss it? In other words, did I just say I'm not paying it?
Yeah,
for a
because then I can
specific
deal
reason?
with my banks and I can get short-term, agreements over the long term.
Deceiving contractors and banks is way different than deceiving a country. It didn't take long for Iran to get hip to Trump's bull. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice? There ain't no fool me twice.
Reza Nasri explains, as a Pakistani diplomat who I happened to meet today told me of these discussions that are taking place in Islamabad, Pakistan. In essence, the United States cannot conduct serious diplomacy. Their arrogance and maximalist approach make it extremely difficult for them to show minimum care and flexibility for the interests and concerns of other nations. In other words, the Trump regime showed up, they agreed to a 10-point negotiating framework that Iran put forward, induced Iran to show up at this negotiation, and then J.D. Vance, Jared Kushner, and Steve Witkoff tried to change all of the terms to what Donald Trump's been posting about on a social media platform.
So Trump and Iran had kind of came to a ceasefire agreement. Well, it wasn't really a ceasefire agreement, it's just a list of demands that Iran had in order for them to open up the Strait of Hormuz. After Trump decided to wipe out their entire civilization and going as far as to giving them a time limit.
You got 10 seconds. Believe me, you don't want this. 5 seconds. Very serious situation. 3. I'm ready. 1 last chance. You know what? Forget it. Let's do this the smart way. We talk. Okay. Let's make a deal. That's a good point. I'll take it. Best negotiation I had today.
Trump even went as far as posted on Truth Social. I agreed to suspend all bombing and attack of Iran for a 2-week period. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe that it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. That is his post. Now, what was part of Iran's negotiations? Now, all of Iran's demands seem pretty reasonable. Guarantee that Iran won't get attacked again, permanent end of the war, not just a ceasefire, and as a result, Iran would open up the Strait of Hormuz. But look at line 3. End of Israel's strike on Lebanon. Well, apparently, Israel didn't get that memo, because they went ahead and did this.
Israel has launched its most devastating attack on Lebanon since the country was invaded more than 5 weeks ago. The Lebanese Health Ministry says at least 254 people have been killed and more than 800 wounded. The attacks came hours after a ceasefire was reached between Iran and the U.S.
Israel really think they're the big dogs out here, huh? What, you can pretend like you didn't hear it? We know you got internet down there. And as a result, Iran shut that straight on down. I guess you're going to continue hating from outside the club and not getting in, Donald.
We are closed. Go away. I have a reservation. Private club. Go away.
You see, unlike everywhere else, Israel's been trying to spread their influence. Donald Trump. You know, like when Bibi expressed his interest in Greenland.
If you take away the Soviet Union and its chief proxy, the PLO, international terrorism would collapse.
If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. Third nation, by the way, is Libya. Obviously, we'd like to see a regime change, at least I would. And Iran exporting terrorism not only to every part of the Middle East, but to Venezuela. By the way, what are we doing with Greenland? We got to do something with Greenland.
Funny, Trump was saying the exact same thing about the exact same places.
We are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland.
In Venezuela, where Chris and I have both had a chance to be there, I literally think they're going to put up a statue to President Trump. And I'm not being, it's not a political statement, it's an actual thing.
So. That would be a great honor.
No, because it's like they view President Trump like Simon Bolivar. He's the liberator of a country.
Israel, Donald. I'm a real boy. You see, Bibi said this a long time ago, that the United States was easy to manipulate. In the making. He played the long game.
במיוחד היום עם אמריקה, אני יודע מה זה אמריקה. אמריקה זה דבר שאפשר להזיז אותו בקלות, להזיז לכיוון הנכון. לא יכניעו לו.
אז אם אנחנו עושים איזה משהו, אז הם...
יש שווה, אז נניח שהם אומרים משהו. אז אמרו, 80% מהאמריקאים תומכים בנו. זה אבסורד. לא פחדתי להתעמת שם. לא פחדתי להתעמת עם קלינטון. לא פחדתי להתעמת עם אובמה.
But of course, Trump loves to manipulate the media and make them think whatever he wants them to think. He admitted it.
He has a huge office, and he's attacking the press. And there were no cameras, there was nothing going on. And I said, you know, that is getting tired. Why are you doing this? You're doing it over and over, and it's boring, and it's time to end that. You know, you've won the nomination. And why do you keep hammering at this? And he said, you know why I do it? I do it to discredit you all and demean you all, so when you write negative stories about me, no one will believe you.
But you know, telling lies and especially keeping up lies gets a little tiring after a while. So he hires people like Caroline Leavitt to, you know, carry the load.
How can the president claim that America can ever have the moral high ground if he's threatening to destroy civilizations and not casting wars as fights against other governments?
Andrew, I think you should take a look at the actions of this president over the course of the past 6 weeks and the actions of our brave men and women in our United States military who have taken out essentially taken out the military of a rogue Islamic regime that has chanted death to America for 47 years, that has killed and maimed thousands of American soldiers over the course of the last 5 decades. The president absolutely has the moral high ground over the Iranian terrorist regime, and for you to even suggest otherwise is frankly insulting.
Maybe she could explain what happened to that pilot that, you know, got shot down in Iran and we had to go save, considering that we haven't even heard from the pilot. Oh, he's sleeping? Oh, that's fine, that's fine. We'll come back later. You know how much Donald Trump loves to toot his accomplishments. You know what he did with the men's hockey team. And serious question, what is going on in Caroline Leavitt's lips? What's that, a bee sting?
Stung by a bee, Scott?
A big bee?
But again, we all know who's pulling the strings here.
You screamed America first, now you put Lucis first. Make Israel great again. Your government is run by pedophiles. They ordered you to die for Israel. They ordered you to die for Israel. They lied to you all.
Coming from his own mouth, this is how Bibi gets it done. Pay attention.
To get somebody to blow up a bus full of children or a building full of innocent civilians, you have to grind it into their minds. You have to wash their brains and tell them there is a higher cause out there. It's religious, ethnic, racial, whatever. And for that higher cause, you can disregard all the normal rules of morality.
So what's the plan, Donald? Because this war is blowing up in your face. Oh, you want to send to Melania?
Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I was not a participant, was never on Epstein's plane, and never visited his private island.
Melania Trump's name is mentioned more than 100 times in the Epstein files released by the DOJ, which also include this email she sent to Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell in 2002, complimenting Epstein and Maxwell on a flattering magazine story and inviting Maxwell to call her in New York.
Not quite working out, Donald. Oh, I know. Oh, duh. You can build something that no one cares about. You know, like that ballroom. Oh, I'm sorry, bunker. I get confused. You better come up with something, because you're losing supporters. Even the faithfuls are starting to question you.
I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human? I mean, honestly, like the president, 3D, yes, shut up. Shut up about that shit. You don't threaten to wipe out an entire civilization. We're talking about civilians.
I mean, what do you expect when you have Donald Trump complaining about his grievances to children during Easter, bro?
Biden would use the auto pen. He'd have an auto pen follow Joe Biden. He didn't sign. He was incapable of signing his hand. So they'd follow him around with this big machine, you know what it was called? An auto pen. And he'd have the auto pen signed for him. He'd take the paper, hand it to his guys, and sign it with an auto pen, give it back. Not too good, right?
Kids don't care about no damn auto pen. They're probably not even going to remember that conversation. You that bored, huh? You got an entire administration that'll hear your problems. You're losing to Donald. You're talking to, you're not making sense. You're acting weird. Now they're requesting your medical records. I mean, why wait until now to request this man's medical records? I mean, all he's been doing is talking about that cognitive test. He's like, yeah, good.
It's actually a very hard test for a lot of people. It wasn't hard for me, but it's a cognitive test. It starts off with an easy question, and by the time you get to the middle, it gets tougher. By the time you get to the end, very few people can answer those questions. They get very tough, mathematical equations and things. I took it 3 times. I aced it all 3 times in front of numerous doctors that I have no idea who they are.
Oh, you're starting to lose faith in Donald Trump and want his medical records? Well, you know what? Donald Trump's got a clap back for you. They've all been thrown off television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because nobody cares about them. They are nut jobs, troublemakers, and will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Damn, Donald Trump, maybe they were just concerned about your well-being. But again, we all know who's pulling the strings here. And he's dealing with some legal issues of his own.
Many people around the world see the state of Israel as a country that is exclusively using military force, that has killed 70,000 people in Gaza, that is doing nothing to create a sustainable future for people there. That is a country, you've been accused of being a war criminal. If you went to go to several countries in Europe, you're going to get arrested.
Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, supposed to have more of his criminal trial taking place this weekend. But Netanyahu has now asked a Jerusalem court to postpone his corruption trial testimony for at least 2 weeks, saying that there are classified security and diplomatic reasons linked to current dramatic events, so he needs a delay in his criminal trial.
Hey, maybe you guys will get lucky and share a bunker together. Because I don't know what he's got on you, but it must be good.